Hi, this is Sarah Mikesell with the Pig Site, and today we're here with Jayson Lusk. He is a economics professor at Purdue University. So thanks for being with us today, Jayson.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah.
Very good. We're here at the World Pork Expo, which is exciting to be back, and we're at the SIP luncheon that's going to take place here shortly. Tell me a little bit about what your message is going to be to the group.
Well, I picked a handful of themes that I think are kind of big macro trends that are affecting the industry and try to pick out the opportunities that may be there for pork producers. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the pressures related to sustainability that are coming down the road, mainly because of investor groups that are impacting retailers and food processors, and then really talk about the importance of innovation and science and entrepreneurship to meet some of those new sustainability metrics. I'll talk a little bit about some of the disruptions we've had from COVID and how we've worked through that, and then again, maybe where some opportunities are as we're sort of navigating, hopefully, now a post-pandemic world. Talk a little bit about the emergence of alternative meats, the plant-based proteins, what that means for pork. And I think some opportunities are there in the sense that it is shaking up the meat case landscape a bit, and there may be opportunities for new products, new blended products, new branding opportunities, because what we're calling meat is changing. In that, while it's threatening, it's also an opportunity, I think, to find some new ways. And then finally, I'll just talk a little bit about sort of macroeconomic factors. Inflation concerns are there. How do we think about those? How do we make sure we're well positioned? And I don't think we're there yet, but if indeed we have this sort of aggregate price rise that we've seen for the last couple of months. So that's a bit of an overview, and hopefully it'll be fun. It's great to be back out in person and talk to people live again. So much better than Zoom.
It is nice to be back, I have to say. So one of the things that you mentioned is kind of, startups and different innovation companies coming into the business. They're kind of offering different things, right? Not unlike, plant-based meat and different things like that, but they're all across the industry, right? I mean, there really does seem to be an emphasis on finding people who can help us get to feeding billions of people. And I mean, do you see that as a trend, I guess? I'm just curious.
I mean, one big trend that's been there for the last 5 or 6 years, increasing amounts of investment dollars flowing into the ag space, not from traditional kinds of companies you think of, but the kind of venture capital, think Silicon Valley sort of investment. And I don't think they're entirely accurate, but they have a view that agriculture is somehow analog and we can really disrupt this sector. I think they also realize sometimes, this is more complicated than I thought it is, but I think there's really a lot of interesting things going on. And just walking around the trade floor here today, it's really cool to see what's out there. Companies selling sensors, automatic feeders, heat monitors, genetics of all sorts. So it's just amazing to see what kinds of innovations are happening in the sector right now.
We have seen more data focused booths, like people who are capturing data down on the trade show than I've ever seen before. So it's been interesting.
I agree. I think the big question is it worth it yet? Is it worth it to invest in that additional data capture? But I think that will play itself out over time. But there's just so much data coming off the farm these days, and trying to use that to your advantage, I think, is a really interesting opportunity for the future.
Very good. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah.
This is Sarah Mikesell with the Pig Site.